Hey there guys, Jordan in the know here, and I've been using the Pixel 7 since launch in October, and by now, this device is about 4 to 5 months old at the time of this video. Just getting right into it, the Pixel 7 has had a ton of updates since launch, about 4 for this device. First was the November update, which focused on security, bug fixes, and battery optimization. Second was a massive update in December, which included a ton of cleanup, changes, and more bug fixes, plus features such as the Google One built-in VPN promised at launch, updated security settings, a feature called Clear Calling, which is supposed to reduce background noise during calls, and the new Pixel voice recorder / transcription app, which works pretty great by the way. Then we also got another minor update in January, which included more bug fixes, a security patch, and some minor UI / animation tweaks. And finally, we also got the February update, which again was just more focused on minor bug fixes and security. Which leads us to today, where we can clearly see that Google is working really hard on post-launch support for the Pixel 7. So that's why I ended up making this video, just because I wanted to show you guys what the experience was like 4 to 5 months later, and with all these new phones coming out, the Galaxy S23, the OnePlus 11, I wanted just to give a little update on how the Pixel 7's doing. And of course, the first place that we can start is performance. I'm not a huge fan of benchmarks, but I can confidently say there's nothing to really warn you about regarding the speed of the device. This has been my main phone for months now, from social media to gaming to GPS to filming, and I haven't seen any issues that really warrant a complaint in terms of performance. Of course, this phone won't be as powerful as the new Galaxy 23 or the OnePlus 11, but I truly think Google did a serviceable job with optimizing performance with the Tensor 2 chip. So performance has been great. I know you probably hear this a lot, but truly everything I could throw at this, I haven't had any second thoughts regarding performance. So while performance was good, something that did bother me was the Pixel 7 software at launch. I hate to say it, but it just felt a little unfinished or undercooked, if you will. Me personally, I noticed the inconsistent fingerprint scanner, weird animation bugs, and just a general lack of polish with the UI, which surprises me for such a big company like Google. Small things like the Hey Google voice commands not picking up, or a particular bug where the animation for locking the screen still enabled touch. So you could still accidentally open apps while that animation for locking the screen was still in play. Those are just the issues that I personally faced, but other Pixel 7 owners on Reddit or forums have brought up crazy issues I've never seen before, so I can only speak for myself, but the December update has brought this phone into true flagship territory and completely different from the bugs and little issues that this device had it at launch, and this was a much needed stability improvement for this phone, which I can say from my experience was definitely a noticeable improvement from launch. Long story short, the phone was good at launch, but after a few months, this phone is solid. So my biggest takeaway from that was don't buy a Pixel phone at launch. They're great phones, don't get me wrong, but unless you're a tech enthusiast like me, I don't think a new user would be willing to put up with the bugs that the Pixel 7 had, at least at launch. Of course, a couple months later, it doesn't matter now, the device performs awesome, but like I said, the biggest takeaway is don't buy these at launch. Wait a month or two, wait for Google to clean up the software, and by then, the phone will be on sale anyway, so it's a win for you, it's a win for everybody, really. And just real quick, I feel like it's really important to touch on whether I regret getting the Pixel 7 as opposed to the normal 7 Pro, and honestly, I do not regret getting the Pixel 7. To me, especially in this tough economy, I really do not think it's worth the extra $300 price increase to go for the Pro. Yeah, it would be nice, but as someone who's spending my own money on these phones, I just can't justify it. The way I see it, the only benefits of the 7 Pro are the 120Hz screen, the 50x zoom, and the macro lens. None of those things I personally felt were worth the money, and the normal Pixel 7 has more than enough features and capability for me. That being said, if you're able to get the 7 Pro on sale or around the same price as the normal 7, I don't see why not. And with all that context out of the way, we're going to talk about what it's like using the Pixel 7 today in 2023. Aside from having one of the best cameras in the market, the biggest selling point for the Pixel 7 series is without a doubt the Pixel experience that Google is carefully crafting. We know they're working hard on making their phones different from Apple and Samsung, and while we have a solid foundation, I think Google still has a long way to go. I think there are quite a bit of features that separate the Pixel line apart from other phones, and my favorites are their call screening feature to filter out spam calls, which is insanely useful. Same with the calling UI that shows up when you're calling businesses where you need to get past their automated system. I also have to say the voice to text works really well, and I am super impressed with the speed and accuracy. There's also voice commands like saying stop when an alarm goes off, or to use Google Assistant to ask a question while my hands are busy, are insanely helpful as well. Even smaller, more passive Pixel features like the Now Playing Music, which has the ability to show music playing in your area on your lock screen, or adaptive charging, which slows down the charging speeds overnight to preserve battery health, are small, fun additions that I'm going to miss when I switch over to a new device. These are all practical features, and I'm honestly really surprised to say, but Google is truly making the Pixel 7 an experience that no other phone is able to replicate at this point, or at least they're getting there. So, with a couple of years of hard work, I can see the Pixel series being really hard to compete against, especially with all the work that Google's doing now. I see their vision, I see what they're trying to do, and I'm all for it, but we need to give them a few more years to let them cook and, get it where it needs to be. In terms of build, nothing really new has popped up over the last 4 to 5 months, except for reports of the camera glass shattering. Based on this Verge article, it seems like a common theme between users is switching between hot and cold environments, and from what I can tell based on the article, it seems like Google support is not actioning on this, which is worrying. Personally, I'm like 10% worried that this is going to actually happen to my phone. From what I can tell, this is not a common issue, and I find it really unlikely to happen to me. So far, I can't tell any signs of my camera glass shattering or about to shatter. I live in Philadelphia, and this time of year, we get into below freezing temperatures quite often. Mine hasn't shown any signs of cracking, like I said, but if something happens, I'll definitely keep you informed. Otherwise, the phone is holding up great. The buttons are still clicky and loud when I press them. The matte finish on the camera bar cleans up really nicely and seems quite resistant to scratches, which keeps it looking nicer for longer as opposed to the glossy finish on the 7 Pro. After all these months, I'd say that this is still an iconic look for the Pixel brand, and while I wish there was something here in terms of design that pushed the boundaries of smartphone design, I'm really happy with what we have this year. The next big ticket item that we need to discuss is battery, and I noticed there are many mixed opinion on battery amongst Pixel users. Again, I can only speak for myself here, but battery has been really good to me. I have to preface this by saying that I don't do a ton of gaming, so I'm not constantly draining my battery with gaming, which, if I had to guess, is a reason why my battery is so good. For my normal use case of watching a ton of YouTube, anywhere from maybe 2 to, 5 hours a day, 2 hours of social media on average, light photo, GPS use, music streaming all day, and I listen to podcasts during the night while I sleep. And just last week, I had a pretty chill day where I ended up watching 7 hours of YouTube, amongst other things, and still ended the day with like 18% battery around 10 o'clock. So do with that what you will, but the way I see it, if I leave this house with 100% battery, I can expect to have a comfortable 20 to 30% by the end of the day, as long as there's no gaming involved or anything crazy. And of course, we cannot move on without talking about the camera. I'm the first to admit that I am not huge into the technicalities when it comes to smartphone photography. To me, all that truly matters is how easily I can take up my phone, fire some shots, and get good photos. And as we all know, the Pixel 7's really good at that, and I have no complaints. Whether it's during the rain at night, or indoors with questionable lighting, or pretty much any circumstance in between, the Pixel 7 has an awesome fire and forget type of camera, and I highly recommend it for photography. I take pictures and basically don't have to do anything with them. They just look great as is. Personally, I think that this phone can easily compete with the new releases like the Galaxy S23, the OnePlus 11, and probably compete with more new releases throughout the year as well. So in terms of camera tech, I really don't think you have to worry about being left behind in the near future. And just real quick, we're gonna get into the good and the bad, and then we're gonna wrap up this video because I'm sure at this point it's been super long. As for the good, I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but the Pixel 7 has a very high quality vibration motor. Whenever I get texts or unlock my phone, the vibrations just feel very aggressive and present. It's something I'm not used to with Android phones, so it's really nice to see here. The screen is wonderful as well, colorful and a joy to watch content on. I also love the face unlock system they have with this phone. When my fingerprint does not work, the face unlock normally takes over pretty quickly, and I'm able to get into my phone pretty fast. I'd say it works probably about 80% as fast as Face ID on Apple devices devices, which is a huge compliment in my book. I also have to say, voice to text is insane on this phone. It's accurate pretty much 99% of the time, and it makes responding to text so easy. Probably one of the most underrated features on the Pixel series, but definitely worth mentioning. And as for the negatives, this may seem silly, but I just really felt that this feedback was useful either for you or for Google or whoever's listening out here. But these voice commands sometimes drive me crazy when it doesn't work. I know it seems small, but when your hands are full or wet or dirty or just whatever, and an alarm goes off, it's really irritating to have to repeat stop over and over and over again just for it to not respond and then have to clean my hands and manually turn it off anyway.
Stop. 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 Jesus.
The past updates have really improved this, but I'm looking forward to a 100% success rate in the future. Also, moving on from that, the Pixel launcher drives me absolutely insane. It has everything I could ever want besides the ability to remove this stupid Google Now widget. It's nice, don't get me wrong, I love it, but I want the option to remove it when I want to. It's a silly thing that is being forced on Pixel users, but I really wish Google would allow us to remove this and just give us this space back. And then finally, again, this isn't really Google's fault, but there is a pitiful selection of case choices out here. If you like customization like me, then you should know there's just not anything interesting or exciting, just a lot of generic case options with really good ones, few and far between. Again, not Google's fault, nothing they can do about it, but just something I wanted to note for anyone potentially looking to pick up this phone. Case options suck. And other than that, guys, that was pretty much it. This video was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, and I haven't done a full device review in quite some time, so I feel like I'm a little rusty, but I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, if you have any questions or anything that we've left behind, leave a comment, and either myself or a member of the community will definitely follow up and just share whatever information we can. I plan to still hold on to this for the foreseeable future, so if you have any questions, I should be able to answer them here. With that said, guys, I am getting out of here, and just a quick update here. This is going to be the last video that you see me filming in this space, just because I'm going to be moving to a new apartment this month, and the new apartment's just going to be bigger for more room to work on this YouTube stuff and cheaper, so I'll be able to not have to spend as much money on that and you know, invest more into the channel, and you know, I'm really hoping that this move can position me to focus at least part-time on this YouTube stuff in 2023. So pray for me. I need all the help I can get here. And if you're wondering where the content is, that's why. I'm just working on moving. And then once I'm moving, my heart is in this YouTube channel, and I'm having such a good time. So it's a good thing. I'm moving to have more time to work on this, and I'm moving to just have less stress in my life to work on this. So like I said, if you're wondering where the content is, that's why. I have to get settled in and get where I gotta go. So other than that, guys, please, let me get out of here. I have much work to do. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Jordan in the Know, and I will see you in the next one.